left Henderson, and this was mostly a driving day. We went north through the Lake Mead recreation area and saw these guys along the road.
Jackass!
Then we kept going, and we got to the Valley of Fire.
There were lots of really vibrant colors and very cool rock formations. We got to see a couple of lizards hiding in their little holes.
We did a couple of mini walks, and the Valley of Fire earned its name. It was very hot.
And then we got to see some larger wildlife.
We did some more driving, and we got to the bottom of Utah, a place called St. George. Went to an overlook and had a nice lunch. Then, back in the car, did some more driving.
Then we went to Coral Pink Sand State Park, which is a bunch of orange sand dunes in the middle of the desert where people do sandboarding.
Took a dip back down into Arizona, drove some more. Came to a place called Page where we saw a dam and a reservoir. Did a nice overlook. Then back in the car and kept driving and ended our day in Kayenta, Arizona. We got up the next morning and headed up the road a little ways to Monument Valley.
Monument Valley was definitely one of my favorite places that we have been to so far. We did a 14-mile unpaved loop around the park and got to see all kinds of really cool rocks.
We spent the whole morning in Monument Valley, so there was just a lot to see. So here's some highlight pictures. Once we left out of Monument Valley, we went up the hill where the famous Forrest Gump scene was filmed, and we took our picture.
Stupid is as stupid does, sir.
And then we headed east and we saw some more wildlife on the side of the road. And then we got to Four Corners where we got to be in 4 states at one time, which was pretty cool. And we also enjoyed some Navajo fry bread while we were there.
We then went off the reservation and drove through some countryside into Colorado and got to Mesa Verde. We drove up the mountain and checked out some spectacular views of the valley. We did some more unscripted driving and came around into Canyonlands. We drove all the way into the park as far as the paved road would let us. Saw the famous needles and turned around and headed back through the park.
Then we went on to Moab and stayed at the Apache Motel and went to a nice dinner in the downtown area there, which was very cute. And that ended our day. We got up that morning and we came outside and saw that we were like the only car that was left.
Yeah.
So everyone else got a much earlier start than we did.
And it was like 9 a.m. and everyone's gone.
So we drove over to Arches, which was probably like the number one thing that I was looking forward to on this trip. And it was very crowded.
Yeah, it was very crowded.
We definitely should have gotten up early with the other folks.
Yeah.
But it was still really beautiful. We got to see all of the kind of iconic formations.
Yeah, it's amazing how it's like a good 20-mile loop driving through, and it's just you went from one thing to the next, and we got out and did a couple little mini walks and
Sometimes it was a challenge to kind of shoot around the crowds, but there was this one magical place that we found up in the camping grounds near Wren Canyon campsite. And it was the backside of the Skyline Arch, and there was no one else there. So that was really cool. That was my favorite part of the day. And then after that, we found maybe the coolest thing all day, the Stew Mart.
We left Moab after lunch and headed towards Salt Lake City. And we came across the world's largest wooden watermelon. On our way towards Salt Lake City, like the topography just totally changed and it became this barren wasteland. Like just, it looked like the moon. Like this might have been the place where they filmed the moon landing. And then by about 4 o'clock, we pulled into our house in Salt Lake City, where we will be for the next 24 days.